Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, April 12th, 2017. Back up and trading. Took the last couple of days off for the first few days of Passover. All right, let's take a look what we got going on today. Here is today's news. I see lots of stuff down here. 8:30 import prices. So we just had that. 10 o'clock, we got Canada. 10:30, today is Wednesday, so we're going to have our crude oil inventories. I will stop reading from there. That will kind of define the morning as usual. We're going to expect some chop this morning, and we'll plan out our hypotheses based on that. Looks like we had quite the gap up the other day. Am I seeing this right? Yeah, wow. Okay. Anyhow, let's go to our overnight trading. Let's adjust as necessary. I'm going to start pulling lines over from our hourly chart. It's a little easier for me to see it there. So you'll see them kind of show up in just a second on our trigger chart here. Okay. All right, now let's take my overnight high, overnight low. That's kind of fun. Almost got that right there. And we need overnight VPOC. Which I'm guessing it's down here. Okay. I'll put that where it's supposed to go in just 1 second. All right, so we have all our lines drawn. We have yesterday's value area high, yesterday's VPOC, yesterday's value area low. We'll come in a minute and do high and low from yesterday on the hourly chart. We have overnight high, overnight low, and overnight VPOC. Real clear so far, P-shaped distribution on the overnight with a little bump here, little bump here. So we put a little bit of volume in here as we were making our way up. In that case, actually, as we were making our way down in this retracement, we put a little bit of volume in there. We put a little bit of volume in this area, and then we put most of our volume in overnight. We are pretty much, I'd say we're net long on inventory. Here's yesterday's close. So we traded a bit below, and then we've been above for the majority of the overnight session. And let's go see what this does for us from a homework perspective. Bring in this, and we have made our way back again. Last time we did homework together, we were talking about how we were trying to get back into this range of this micro composite back here, into this micro composite. And looks like it had kept us out. We gapped up yesterday right into the bottom of it and made our push to try to get and stay in that micro composite. So what we're going to need to do is let's give ourselves a little bit of space here. Let's see where we're currently trading. We are at 53.60. Puts us right here. And that gives us enough room to mess around with. Actually, we'll scrunch it up a little more. Okay. All right. So we are at the top of overnight range. We are outside of yesterday's range. In fact, let's take a second to draw out and remove any levels as needed from yesterday. The ones down here should definitely stay. I'm a little actually, wait a second here. Wait just a second. Okay, never mind. Answer my own question. Okay, so nothing on the downside, but we do need to mark off yesterday's low, which seems awfully close to yesterday's value area low. And we need to mark off yesterday's high. I don't know where this microcomposite came from, but it sure shouldn't be there. This microcomposite should have been ended back here. Okay, okay. I must have accidentally clicked it. My only guess. So let's mark off yesterday's high. We marked off yesterday's low. All right, so let's get back to it. Let's see if 5360, oopsie, still where we're trading. Yep, 5360. Okay. A little more space. All right. So we are starting outside of yesterday's range. We have a gap up this morning. Below overnight VPOC, below overnight high. We're going to be looking for hypo 1 is going to be a move down towards yesterday's high, possibly yesterday's value area high. Look for support here with a turn back up to get to overnight VPOC, overnight high, and ultimately make our way up towards this microcomposite VPOC, which comes in at 54.54. That's going to be hypo 1. Let's mark that. Hypo 2 is going to be an open, get above overnight VPOC, overnight high, hold the support, same idea, ultimately push through to that microcomposite VPOC, and then we're targeting this low volume node above at 54.75, 54.73-ish. That's going to be hypo 2. It's very similar to hypo 1, except this one does not have a pull back first. This is a move, gets above overnight high. Overnight highs hold the support, and then we push from there. Last few days I've traded, I've seen setups like this that I didn't take advantage of. So we'll see if we can't spot that one early enough and try to take advantage. That's going to be hypo 2. Hypo 3. Hypo 3 will be a test towards overnight VPOC, overnight high with a fail, and then attempt to come back down, fill the gap to yesterday's high, see if that holds as some resistance, come test value area high, see if that holds as some resistance, maybe even a break back, and ultimately come and make a push towards yesterday's VPOC, yesterday's value area low, and then this cluster of swings here. That's going to be hypo 3, and those are going to be all the hypos that we have. Keep in mind, can we continue drawing and show a pullback to VPOC and then a push up from VPOC to value area high for a hold, and then value area high to pull down to here for a hold, and then this? Yes, but this gives us enough reasonable expectations. Keep in mind, we do have a gap area down here that certainly, if price wants to get down there, we can slide through there pretty quickly. You'll notice we have a low volume area in the composite there. But anyhow, let me get rid of those. I don't want that on the hypo. Though that is hypo 3. And let's see if I have time to do some. What time we got? 8:42. Plenty of time. So let's see what the S&P has been up to while we've been away. All right, everything seems to kind of be status quo. Looks like what we've come down. All right, let's see. So let's move this value area to become value area low. Here's our VPOC to become yesterday's VPOC. Here is overnight high. Actually, matches up exactly to what tonight's overnight high was. So here's overnight high. Here is overnight VPOC, and here is overnight low. Okay, so we are pretty much neutral, maybe net short a bit with the overnight trading. Here's yesterday's close. Predominantly, we've been underneath there, but it seems pretty evenly distributed from a price perspective. Volume definitely is net short. More volume has traded below yesterday's close than above yesterday's close, but from pricing alone, we've gotten just about as high above it as we did below it. So let's take a look at what this looks like for our homework. I'm going to try to get through this one pretty quick. I do have something I want to get done before the open. So let's first take a look if there are any levels that we breached in the last few days trading, and there are none. Not surprised to see this range kind of be what it is, meaning we don't have any levels in between here. So we saw the low of one day all the way down to this swing, the high of that day close to this swing, the high of this day above this swing, the low of this day close to this swing. So I'm not awfully surprised with that. All right, anyway, no levels need to come off the chart. We do need to add a few on, however. So I'm not going to bother putting this one on for the low from this day because we breached it yesterday. Same thing holds true with the low from this day. We breached it yesterday, so we're not going to bother with that. We are going to reference this high. We are going to reference yesterday's low. And then I'm going to move this line I just copied and pasted is going to also now get removed since we traded through it in both directions. And to the top side, we'll need to reference yesterday's high. Okay. We will also now include the last few days worth of trading into the micro composite, since they are all within the range of our current micro composite. You know, we really could pull back that micro composite to here. I see we have another micro composite in this area where we really balanced. We pull the micro composite VPOC from there. Excuse me. Okay, anyhow. All good. Let's increase this a bit. Let's look at where we're trading now, 47.25. Okay. So we are in the value area of this micro composite that we have currently drawn on here. We are below. Hang on, something seems off here. Something seems off. I did not move VPOC for yesterday. Okay. We're fixed. All right. 47.25. Let's get back there one more time. Okay. So we are opening inside yesterday's value, right around yesterday's VPOC. So I'm going to say hypo 1 is going to be a pullback down to yesterday's VPOC, hold, turn back up towards overnight VPOC, value area high. Where is overnight low? Way up top there. Okay. Value area high. Get to the micro composite VPOC and see if we can't get all the way up to overnight high. That is going to be hypo 1. While I have this, let me check something. I noticed that okay, so this is where the micro composite VPOC was. I have to adjust that. this VPOC has shifted down to here. Okay. This is going to be hypo 1. Okay, hypo 2 is going to be an open for its overnight VPOC, value area high, yesterday's high, maybe a push all the way up to micro composite VPOC with a fail here, get back below yesterday's high, and then push our way down into yesterday's yesterday's VPOC, get down and come and make a run towards yesterday's value area low, potentially all the way down to this micro composite VPOC. If we can get some resistance there, ultimately a push down to yesterday's low. This is going to be hypo 2. In all honesty, that's really all I should be drawing here. I mean, basically, you know, the only other thing to keep note of here is below yesterday's low, we have very low volume, so we can see moves happen fairly quickly underneath there. But really, those are the only two hypos that we're going to look at for S&P this morning. Now, look, remember, again, we're looking at these hypos to kind of give ourselves an idea of how, you know, what levels we really need to stay above in order for us to consider it bearish, what levels consider it bullish, what levels we need to stay below in order for us to consider it bearish, and where that shift can happen. But we're going to still need to react to what we see during the day. You know, I can't, truth be told, I can draw out every hypothesis I can think of, and still we would be put in the position of having to make some judgment calls as the day progresses. I'm going to pause the recording, and I'll be back before the open. All right, here we are, about a minute or so before the open, even less. So let's see what we get. All right, so here comes the open. Strong push up into this former little consolidation area up there, right before the overnight high, right below overnight high. Right up to overnight VPOC. All right, let's see what happens. S&P still hovering near the overnight low right here. So, remember, today is Wednesday morning, so we're going to need to expect chop. We're going to need to make sure that we're patient with our trading entries. Not really much going on here. I'll try not to just yap for nothing. Let's take a look real quick. So again, we've consolidated at the end of an upwards move here, and let's shrink this down a little bit more and see. So really strong upwards move ever since 10:15 yesterday morning. We had a push up, we consolidated, push up, consolidated, and now we're going to wait to see where the price wants to go next. Really nothing doing here. Pushing down here. So we had a nice turn right off overnight VPOC here. Okay, so we're watching the bottom end of this consolidation potentially for a long. We have positive divergence on the 610 and very slight positive divergence on the 987, going back to this swing low, but right now we have not seen a slowdown. We see sellers continue to follow it behind with large size. No positive divergence from back here. So we just need to kind of sit on our hands. Could have looked for that opening of the day swing here at the overnight VPOC, but I didn't react to it quickly enough. Let's blow this up a little bit for a second. So this here, yesterday's high. Remember, we have a gap here, so we're going to look to see if we ultimately close this gap. That's the upper end of this consolidation back here. Would have liked to have seen a little bit more of a push. I mean, really, you really could have looked for the short here in this consolidation at overnight VPOC. Like I said, for me, I didn't pull the trigger, but I would not be surprised if some of the people that have been watching and understanding what it is I'm looking for, but not always reacting to. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you saw that and pulled that trade. Okay, so we got this pullback here right towards this little consolidation area. Right back here. Draw that out. It's a nice little candlestick setup here for a potential long. Not something I'm looking to get into just yet. Might be interested if we start to overlap. Might be interested in a breakout pullback long. There's that pullback. Not far enough yet. No negative divergence, so that's certainly causing hesitation for me for wanting to try to grab a long down here. Still haven't touched yesterday's high. Kind of see that as a level that I think we're going to want to retest. But this push here. See, when we pushed up and we came back down. Let me see if I can't. Let's make this bigger. See here how we came down, we pushed up on this candle, and then we pulled back into the consolidation on this candle. That breakout pullback, that's a pattern. That's a setup that I need to put back into my daily thinking. I need to remember to watch for those. That's a nice one there. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to break up higher, but what it does is it gives me a much better opportunity to enter a trade from from a better price point first and foremost, and then potentially run a tighter stop or allow me to move stops further, not by adding onto my risk, but because we have a better price point, my stops will automatically be further away. I'm sorry, further down in price, not further away from my entry. But right now, the BBs are all reading negative. So we're just going to kind of have to wait, let this one hash out. Coming back down. Oh, get back here. Coming back down to test current low of day. Just a quick glance over at S&P. So still flirting with this overnight low. S&P also no negative divergence down here. So from what it looks like, this should continue to make its way down. There is hidden divergence here. Let me take a look at what that looks like on a chart for a second. Yeah, I can't really call that. I guess I can actually. The hidden divergence. What that means is, so you could see that we're in an uptrend from down here, right? We've come up, pulled back a little, come up, pulled back a little. So these lows are getting higher, okay, in that uptrend. However, the BBs are getting lower during those same time period where these lows have gotten higher. That's hidden divergence. That's usually a strong sign in an uptrend. Let's see what happens here if we push back up towards VWAP and 21 EMA. Let's see if the sellers step back in to ultimately close the gap to yesterday's high. No turn up in the BBs yet. Now keep in mind, the BBs are technically a lagging indicator, meaning they won't turn up unless price turns up. Sometimes it'll happen during consolidation, but so as long as we stay right where we are, if we stay in a 10 tick range, I don't expect to see much happening in those BBs. We seem to be trapped in here underneath 53.54. I'm not watching order flow. I'm literally not even looking at it because it'll do nothing but give me a headache. Just sitting, kind of doing nothing. I feel bad that we have a lot of empty video, no audio in there, nothing for me to talk about. Remember, we are still expecting a tag of yesterday's high. Now, again, let's talk about if this were to move up. Let's draw out something that could happen here. If this were to come up and then start consolidating, and we see the BBs turn up and give us positive divergence, we would be willing to start taking longs at that point and scale all the way into yesterday's high. That hasn't happened yet, which is why we're not jumping into longs just yet. There's our break of the current low of day. BB still showing negative. Now here, we could be looking for a breakout pullback short. We were in this consolidation. We just broke out away from it. We could be looking for a pullback into it for a short opportunity. take a look here. I might actually consider a short right. In fact, I am going to take a short right here. There was our breakout, pullback into the consolidation. BBs are still showing negative. So we are still of the belief that we're going to come tag this yesterday's high. In fact, I'm coming a few ticks away from that towards yesterday's close. Front run that a little bit. And we will be watching potentially for a scale near middle of the day. Just kind of waiting there now. So what we should do, if you remember, I showed you a couple weeks ago that I took a little bit of time to read some data, put together a spreadsheet, and what that spreadsheet showed me was I tended to do a lot better with scaling in and scaling out just based on wherever I was entering trades. Like I wasn't fine tuning my entry. I was just watching my videos, seeing where I entered trades, and then playing it out from there. So I'm going to continue that. I'm going to put my scales out. Just came to retest this high here. Again, while the BBs are still pointing down, I wouldn't mind getting filled into my scale here. Most likely we're going to be sitting in this for a little bit. Just to, while we can, let's look over at S&P. Still kind of hanging out near overnight low. Still no real turn up in the BBs. I really wouldn't mind getting my second scale here, or I should say I guess that's really my first scale, in this oil position. So we touched the 57 price, but I wasn't filled. Just did it again. Okay, so we're scaled into our second one. And what we'll do, we have our first profit target is at 10 ticks above yesterday's high, above yesterday's close, below current low of day. Second profit target for now, and that is certainly adjustable, we're front running yesterday's value area high. But can't really talk much about that until we turn around and make our way back down. Truth be told, I'd rather not get filled on my next scale. I really would rather see this turn away from middle of day and make our way down. I think it would keep the BBs more in our favor if it happened that way. Just watching. So we're just kind of hovering around here, waiting to see if we make our way down towards yesterday's high, close the gap. Not much cooking. I don't like, you remember I drew out before saying how it's possible that we'll get a push up like this, slow down, come back and test the current low of day, at which point BBs might have generated positive divergence, and then we'd be looking at it differently. That's kind of what's starting to happen right here. Still, although it's a small move from where we are now to low of day, 57 to, it's not horrible, 11 ticks. We could still see a pretty decent change in the BBs if that move were to happen, depending on how it happens. So I will have to keep an eye on that. See, again, this is an area, if we were to be focusing on order flow and watching what's happening, it would literally just drive us crazy. The only downside to this trade is that we did not yet have a 10-tick range from our entry to the current low of day. So our entry was 55, current low of day was 46, which is 9 tick. So really could have waited to try to average in a little bit higher. But there is definitely a chance that in the event this does turn down in our favor and the BBs read with positive divergence, there's a chance we won't even be looking for a 10-tick profit target. But right now, there's nothing we can be doing other than just sitting and watching. Excuse me. We've come back to break even on the trade a couple of times, but have not really come back to being positive on the trade. The upper end of this little consolidation has been holding. Let's see if we can't get some push down towards the low of day here. Get some sellers to step in and some buyers to go away. Let's see, we have about, what's this, a minute and a half till equities open. I'm not going to lie, I'm looking forward to that. I'd like to see maybe some action in the S&P. So in preparation of this, let's take a look at what we have. Again, we don't really have strong positive divergence on the BBs for the S&P. The 1597 is flattened out but has not turned up. What I'd really like to see at this open is we're below yesterday's close. We're inside yesterday's value area. I'd love to see a push up towards value area high. You know, these two swings, this consolidation area back here, coinciding with value area high. I'd love to see a push like that off the open, giving us a chance to get short. Even overnight VPOC, you know, scaling in from overnight VPOC up, that could work too. Let's see what happens. Okay, on the flip side, we're watching for what happens if we come test overnight low. Okay, there's our push down through overnight low. So what we're watching for here is we're going to be seeing if we ultimately can turn back up, giving us a short opportunity in this consolidation. Oil, on the other hand, just kind of hanging out. So still no positive divergence on the S&P with the BBs. Let's go back here for a second. This level should not exist. I just took back a look at look back at the homework chart because I didn't remember acknowledging this. Okay, here's our push back up. So I'm watching here for a short opportunity. Would have liked to push up a little higher. I am now watching the order flow in the S&P. Sellers just stepped in there. Just watching to see if sellers hold. I'm going to take the beginning of a short here. And again, we're going to be on a scale. So where are we entered into? 45.50. Okay. As for our first profit target here, we are going to push this one down a bit towards value area low. Again, we'll front run it by a few ticks. All right, there's really not much for us to do for now. So definitely paying attention here with the S&P as it comes down towards the low of day. BBs right now are completely fine. Only the 1597 has any type of positive divergence. 2584, 4181 both show weakness to the downside. So we pushed, extended the low. So we turned back up in the S&P. We got to our 2-point profit target. Now we moved it away, but we got to our 2-point or 8-tick profit target on the S&P and came away from it. But again, the BB still aren't really showing anything to scare us. We're below overnight low. We'll see. We'd like to see that hold as resistance. If we did close, let's say we left our profit target where it originally was and we were filled, I'd probably be looking to get into another short here. Now, I don't want to add another one on now because I already have my first short. And so I'll take a scale here. That's fine. and then towards the upper end of this consolidation. I'll take a scale there as well, but that's about about as far as I want to see that move. I honestly really wasn't even looking for it to come up that far. That is absolutely affecting my opinion of where this is going to go. Okay, so we have our first profit target. We're going to leave right there at 44. BBs have turned up. It looks like if we were to come back down to current low day, the BBs would still be showing strength. So we would we'd want to be closing out on a move down here, or at least scaling out on a move down. Buyers are stepping up here in S&P. Not liking what I'm seeing right now. Let's see if we can't get this back below overnight low, back below yesterday's VPOC. See what happened. What happened in these strong candles here, where they open at their low, they close at their high. That pulls the BBs pretty quickly. So you get 3 of those in a row like that, and that immediately turns the BBs up, giving them what currently looks like would be positive divergence. We would need to see the reverse of those candles, more of these red candles here that open near their high, close near their low. We would need to see those pop in order to turn the BBs back down. But right now, we're getting this overlapping trade, candle by candle, and buyers continue to step up right there. I think we might be in for a problem on both of these. See, we just got scaled somewhere. S&P, okay. I don't like, really don't like where we got here. Buyers definitely seem to be in control in the S&P. We need the sellers to come hold the top of this consolidation and turn us back down. So I am paying attention to order flow here. Nothing exciting about it. Certainly nothing exciting for me. There's some big buying stepping in. Here's where we need to see sellers continue to push. This is where buyers have stepped in a few times now. We need sellers to start getting aggressive, flexing their muscles a little bit. Not quite. So, you know, this area, this overnight low, yesterday's VPOC, we've tried getting away on both sides of it, and it hasn't. Neither one has worked yet. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy about the fact, you know, if you look at it now, the range of the day, we're pretty much stuck in the middle of it. So we've kind of gotten into a 50-50 trade. So not anything I'm all that excited about right now. BBs are turned up a bit here. Sellers are trying. I mean, you could see sellers stepping down, but until buyers are willing to get out of the way and really let this, you know, come test current low a day. You'll notice I have 2 profit targets down here. In fact, I'm going to overlap them. BBs are showing that low of day would probably hold. I actually like this idea. Moving our stop to break even. And I'm taking 2 off here at a point, leaving my 1 left. 1 left here. Put that stop back above current high a day. Leave this profit target down just in case we make a push. But I will be willing to close this trade neither at profit target or stop loss, depending on what shapes up here. You know, just kind of bouncing around in the range. It's the BBs really that worried me most, which is why I closed out those 2 trades where I did. BBs definitely are showing more strength than weakness. Okay. So let's see now. We've made a push up towards overnight VPOC, didn't get to it. See, we came and tested the top side of the range. We got stopped out here, and that's completely fine. You know, we had to assume at some point that if we break one of these sides, top or bottom, we're going to go. So you do need to have a protective stop in there. A little bit of bad luck to have it spike right through our stop and come back down. But again, you have to have a protective stop in a case like this, because there's nothing to say that the move doesn't stop here versus stop here at this value area low, I think it is. Value area high, sorry. But we're going to be watching down here for potential long opportunity. BBs are showing strength. We're coming back down to test the lower part of this consolidation. I didn't see anything on the news today that I would have expected the S&P to be as tight ranged as it is so far, but the market gives you what it gives you. Just saw a quick test of VWAP with a turn back up. I don't think I remember ever such a tight range on crude before the inventories. I mean, this is what? This is a 6-tick swing. This is a 7-tick swing. Then you get a big one here. What do we got here? 61 from 52. You get a 9-tick swing. No, 9 ticks. There you go. What time do we have? Almost 9:50. Okay. Just came back to test VWAP again on S&P. Missed it by a tick. I can't believe my oil trade is profitable. Not that it's going to close profitable. I haven't seen, we haven't been on the right side of this trade for a while. S&P has come back down below VWAP. EBs are still showing strength here in the S&Ps off of the current low of day. Overnight low. We're back down to overnight low. See if overnight low holds like it did here and like it just did on this candle that closed. And what we're starting to see with the S&P is basically divergence on both sides of the range. Positive divergence off of lows. If this were to come down to make a low, it looks like the BBs would have a positive skew to them. And negative divergence, we don't have it yet. We don't have negative divergence off the highs yet, but that could very easily form with this range and the way this range is trading. Right now, BB still show more strength and weakness in the S&P. In oil, the only BB that is not showing positive divergence, or what looks to be positive divergence if we come down, is the 1597. 1597 is still skewed to the downside. So if we get a push down, we have a chance, it looks like, to maybe extend our range a bit for today. But again, right now there's nothing doing. I really don't want to get too caught up in order flow here on oil. S&P sitting near the top part of this consolidation. BBs continue to show strength. Switching over here to oil for a second. All right, we got one out. Canceling this scale, moving my stop to break even. With the way oil's trading today, to tell you the truth, I don't really have a reason to want to let it get back to the top side of this range. And I am more than prepared to close out this trade before getting to either profit target or stop loss in oil. In fact, considering what time it is, most likely that is going to happen soon. Let's watch the S&P here. You know what? I gotta go, but I'd be looking at the S&P for a potential long down here. Excuse me. See the BBs here on oil. The 987, although they show positive divergence, and they certainly do, we're at a level here. We're at this yesterday's high. We still have not tagged yesterday's high to fill the gap. But one decent push, and all of a sudden, those BBs will not show positive divergence. The 1597, I don't need any pushes. It does not show positive divergence. So I I don't mind having my stop here. You know, if we end up bouncing back up, I'd rather get closed out at my break even than risk the upper end of this consolidation. But if we do ultimately fill the gap, I think we have the setup to potentially see a bit more of a push down. And as we see here, I'm front running. Actually, I'll front run just a little more. I'm front running value area high from yesterday and this previous swing. And again on the S&P, actually just kind of missed it. I would the idea. Well, look, this is an awfully tight range. I really should be minding my business and staying out of any trades here. But I'd rather be long than short the S&P right now. I mean, literally this instant. Overnight high, yesterday's VPOC. We've seen this now hold a support quite a few times. We tried getting below it a couple of times. It held, but we haven't had any strong input. Well, this is a nice impulsive move above it. Yeah, if I were going to be trading longer, I would definitely be looking, longer as far as being in front of the screen for more time today. I would be looking for a long here in the S&P. We got a great fill here. We got our first profit target at 53.45, right at the pretty much right at low of day, one tick above low of day. That worked out nicely. Okay. That is going to be it for the morning. Not a bad day's worth of trading. Quick turned into some quick scalps on the S&P. Took a while on oil. We still have our one contract open. We'll see where this one pushes. Keep in mind we would close this no later than 10:27 with the report coming out at 10:30. Okay, so I don't know if I'll be in front of the screen to do it, but I'm not going to take any false profits. Where if we look at the screen tomorrow and we see that the oil got to 53.30 before the news and then pushed down afterwards, just know I would have closed that closer to that 53.30. I mean, I'm not looking to take profit or assume I would have taken the profit based on the move on the report. All right, I will catch you guys later. As always, if you have any questions, get in touch with me. If not, I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.